Once you begin to use the Pulse app with the capability of inputting parameters to get nice searches in good looking views, the global views, geolocation, and all the good things that it has, I'm sure that you've been thinking already, well, how can I, for example, share a specific view with upper management? Say the upper management wants to see the status of offenses or whatever it is that they want to see. Or how do I, and I want to do that in a secure way. I don't want to give all the access rights in the world that they don't need. How do I, for example, create a user for displaying a set of particular Pulse dashboard on the large screen TVs at the SOC environment? Well, that's what this video is all about. So let's start by showing what you need to do in the admin tab to do so. So first of all, you need to create a user role. And as you see, I already created one called Big Screen TV to say that this is for the soft wall at the SOC. And I'm going to give it access to all the offenses, all the log activity, network activity, and the Pulse dashboard. So these are the things that the user will see when he will log in. He will have an offense tab, log activity tab, networking tab, and a Pulse tab to click on. All these other things will not be there. The other thing that you need to do is you may want to limit the view, especially if you have multi-tenancy or you have different domains, and that's where the security profiles is all about. So here on the Big Screen TV, I'm not limiting what this guy can see, right? But you can define which network, if you only want to give access to a particular network, what log sources can he actually see, and whether you want him to see flows and logs or any combination of those. So there's a lot of flexibility there. Once you've done that, then what you may want to do is actually create a user, and I created one here called Big Screen TV, and I gave it that user role we just saw and that security profile I just did. Keep in mind that when you make changes in here, or you create new users, you will have to deploy changes. Now I'm going to open a new window here in incognito mode to make sure that I can log in separately, and the user was softwall. Type the password. When that user logs in, as we said and we expected, we have the standard dashboard, offenses, log activity, network activity, and the Pulse. But when we go to the Pulse app, he's not going to see, for example, the nice Pulse view I just show you. And when we go here on there, what is it that he has the standard, the basic Pulse view. It doesn't have all the dashboards. So what is if I want to share a dashboard with this user? Let me actually go back to the admin tab where I was and go here under Pulse, and here on the right, okay, next to where the export as a JSON button is, there is this thing that gives you multiple options, and one of them is Share Dashboard. So if I click here, Share Dashboard, and I enable this share link, notice that I'm giving a link that I can put in the clipboard. And then let me go back to that. I can send this via email or whatever, and I can go to the other dashboard, and actually I can paste that link in here and hit enter, and notice that because I'm already logged in here, I get to see that very nice looking dashboard. But notice this one, read only. So, and this is great in case that you want to give this to somebody. And notice that I don't have the place where I can, the pencil to edit and make changes to this particular dashboard. Now, you have multiple options. One of the options that you have in here is you can import that shared dashboard, and then it becomes yours, and you can make changes, and it's your copy of it. That works fine. You also, as we have shown in other videos, you can actually click here, export this as a JSON from the admin tab. Let me actually go there. We go to the admin where we were before. I can always go here, export it as a JSON, send it in any way, an email or whatever, and then that person imports it, and it's like if he would be doing that even in a separate curator deployment, right? So just a JSON. In the same way that you download the JSONs that we put from the community in my public box folder, exactly the same. So as you see, you have multiple options. One thing I like that the developers of this thing took care of is that when you go to your dashboard here, now you have this indication here in blue reminding you that you are sharing this dashboard with somebody else. So if you make changes or you delete it or you do whatever, then that's going to affect the other person. So I think that this is a nice detail to remind you about it. And also, if in the soft world you have multiple screens, well, I can always go here and do opening a new window, and then I can put this particular window on that screen, that other, you know, different dashboard and multiple screens. So I think that this is actually good. Not only polls make Curator look definitely much better than the traditional way. It's the same engine, but via APIs is getting that information from that engine and, you know, showing it in a much appealing way. But also for sharing reports with upper management and other people, having the capability of doing those entries, having the capability of now displaying expensive searches with the global view as we show, having that geolocation. I think, and all these sharing option, I think that this tool is ready for prime time, and I can think of doing different interesting things now that it looks so good. I don't think that Curator was accused ever of being sexy looking, but I think that with this Paul's bikini that he got and all these safe options for sharing the information, I think that this can go beyond just the SOC people like us, and we can share this with other folks in the organization.